Welcome to the MNSpiritCast. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the MNSpiritCast. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day. We're coming at you mobily from Isani, Minnesota today, and I'm with my co-host, Joshua. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome today, Marcus. Here at home at Circle Pine, so no mobile for me.
Yeah, we're out and about today, and we're doing a mobile show, and hopefully everybody enjoys it because we have a fantastic team. And we are in the state of Missouri today. So the mother of the West is Missouri. So we're in the mother of the West today. And we have a fantastic team, otherwise known as Abyss Paranormal. And here is Liz and founder of Abyss Paranormal, Vicky.
Hello.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in.
How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. Jinx. Well, welcome to the MNSpiritCast. This is y'all's first time being on here. Vicky, you're actually on the other side of the camera today. You're usually in the comments.
Okay, I am getting broken up.
Vicky, you're usually in the comments with us when we're doing this for normally, aren't you?
She's breaking up.
She's usually in the comments, and yes.
Well, you're on the other side today, so we welcome you to the show. Hello.
Hello, Facebook brother.
It's my sister. So today we're coming in the state of Missouri, and we are a quarter of the way through our ALL American Paranormal Tour. Out of 50 episodes, Missouri is definitely one of my favorite states and a must-visit state. So, first of all, Abyss Paranormal, can you guys tell us a little bit about who you are, what you specialize in, that kind of stuff?
Liz, do you want to go?
No, you can go ahead if you understood. Go ahead.
All right. We were founded in 2006. We are a team of 7. Mainly 80%, 85% of what we investigate is residential, and most of the time it's private. So therefore we don't have a lot of videos. We do, like we did the global ghost hunt, we do known areas, but it's not honestly that often that we have a lot of local spots and locations and things of that nature. But basically what we do is our main goal is why we are together is to help people. And that's literally our slogan. You know, helping people stay in good spirits is our slogan.
I like that. That's way better than happy hunting.
You're right.
That's
It's a little long. It's a little long, but it does.
See, if we're looking at it from different perspectives, my main slogan is happy hunting, and that generally just covers the entire team. Minnesota Spirit Hunters, happy hunting makes sense. However, putting clients, sorry, baby, Mama went in the store.
Oh no.
But our slogan is putting clients' minds at ease and helping the dead find the light. And that's a simple mission statement right there in itself.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, and it doesn't matter how long it is. It's the story and the meaning behind the slogan. So
Right.
I think the slogan is fantastic. It's a good one. So, but 2006, wow, that is a absolutely long time. You guys, and you founded the team, right?
Yeah, my son and he's a co-founder. I told him, I said, look, I really want to do this, but I'm not doing it by myself. I'm going to need some help. So my son, Jesse, he is the co-founder.
Okay. And does he go out and investigate with you guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And Liz, how did it come to be for you?
Funny enough, I met Jesse we worked at the same place together. And it's kind of hard to remember. Jesse could tell the story better, but he had mentioned something about the paranormal group. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He was walking out the door and I'm like, wait, come back here. You know, I found out more about it and then I joined and we've been friends and together since. So
very cool.
It was like 2008 when Liz's husband is our tech man. His name is Ruben. And both of them joined in, I believe it was 2008. It's either the end of 2007 or the end of 2008 that they joined. If I remember correctly, Jesse had went in and requested time off because we had an investigation.
That's right.
And you jumped on it. You know,
so Liz, you put up with Vicky for 50 years now?
She's easy to deal with. It's Jesse I put up with.
You know we love you, Vicky.
Yeah, Jesse has a dry sense of humor, and he's the one that, you know, he's hard to deal with.
I love him.
Yeah, we're all family. You know, we're all family. The members of the team. The newest one is Gage. Gage is my grandson, and he just joined this year.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was like May was the first time he did an investigation with us. It was a year ago, wasn't it? Yes. Now that I think about it, it was a year ago, May. That he joined. But the rest of them, we have been together since at least. Now, Andrea Grono, she joined right after we started the group in 2006, and she's still on the team.
I just think it's awesome that you guys have been together for that long, because, you know, there's a ton of paranormal teams out here. Myself, I've been open since August 2020, so I just hit my 3 years with Minnesota Spirit Hunters. And I have been through so many team members since then, you know, but the way I look at it, once you come into Minnesota Spirit Hunters, you're our family. Once you leave, I don't care your feelings about me or anything, you're still my family.
Right.
You know, I don't care who you are.
We're definitely family now. I mean, after all this time. At one point in time, I believe it was like 2009, because we're like 40 minutes, Lebanon is 40 minutes from Fort Leonard Army Base. Okay. And but at one point in time, there was 12 members of this team. And it really worked out, because there was times when we do investigations that some of us wasn't able to go. So we had the others to pull in. And if we had a large outside investigation, it really wasn't a problem. Now, there was sometimes that we did have to worry about contaminating our audio because people talking or whatever, and we had to deal with that. but for the most part, I mean, 2 of them was soldiers. They transferred to California.
Sure.
A couple of them retired. One of them moved to Florida. She just recently moved back to Missouri. I don't know if she's wanting to join. She's already made a statement she would like to go on investigating with us, but we'll see how that goes.
Right.
But yeah, we have lost members, but it's not because like there was an issue. It's because like, they were transferred out or they retired and moved or something of that nature.
Absolutely. I just think it's awesome. You guys got a great story behind your team. You got great history, and I'm sure you've been to great places. Now, one thing I do want to ask you, and that we're asking all members of the ALL American Paranormal Tour, is you're in the state of Missouri. Let's talk a little bit about the paranormal in Missouri. You don't hear a lot about the state, but I'm sure there's a ton of, hot spots and a ton of cases and all kinds of stuff. So what is paranormal like in Missouri?
Go ahead, Liz. You go on that one.
I was going to say, in Missouri, it's a taboo subject.
Okay.
It's not really well accepted here.
Right.
We're in the Bible Belt.
I was going to say, as most states, this is the Bible Belt, and a lot of things are, always considered demonic rather than, a possibility of something else. And so a lot of people shut us down or don't really want to get involved or anything like that. But that doesn't necessarily negate the fact that there is still a lot of haunted places here.
There is.
Right. We're one of those states where, the Civil War happened as well, different battles. And so, I mean, the land alone, it has a lot of possibility and potential. Then you take it into account everything's taken in, all the energy, I mean, I think a lot of people don't even realize that something's haunted when it really might be, simply because of their ideas. They're shut down to it.
Exactly. Now we're in. First of all, I figured out a fun fact when I was making the event for this show. So you're based in Lebanon, Missouri, right? Okay. Right. So I hear that Lebanon, Missouri is either a sister town of Lebanon, Tennessee, or is it just named after Lebanon, Tennessee? And do they share similarities of any kind?
The people that came to, before Lebanon was Lebanon, it was called Wyota because we had Wyota Indians here. The family, last name of Appling, came from Lebanon, Tennessee, and they sold a certain amount of acres so Lebanon, Missouri could be founded. And that's where Lebanon, Missouri came in, is because they were from Lebanon, Tennessee.
Okay. And then, so at any way, do you think, well, first of all, have you visited Lebanon, Tennessee or no?
No, I haven't.
So I actually have. I used to live down there in Nashville. And I know I was just a kid when I lived down there, but I know there is like a ton of activity over there. So I'm wondering if the two share any similarities paranormal wise,
Well, quite honestly, the family that sold the land, there is a suspicion or an accusation. And I honestly, the more I've dealt with this, I'm honestly believing that she was, but she was accused of being a witch. She got into it with one of the bigger churches here in town and quit going to church. And then all of a sudden she started being accused, is how the story went. Where she is buried, when she passed, she did request to be facing west.
Okay.
Which is a very good sign. But because she was having problems with the churches and things, they said she had the kind of personality that she would do something like that.
Yeah.
I would do it for spite.
Yes, right. But she made folk medicine. She worked with herbs. She was a natural. She liked nature. She had wildflowers, and she had her own things that she did, and that's what led up to it, I believe. But I don't think just because she's accused of being a witch, it's not like she went around casting spells on people. It's just her lifestyle. It looked like.
I completely understand.
Right,
Well,
right.
I'm a Wiccan too. I'm an earth worshiper myself. I am a witch, so
Right.
I
Now
relate.
Jesse in the group, he is Wiccan.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of others that I don't know that they're necessarily Wiccan, but they practice a lot of the Wiccan stuff. They're pagan, let's put it that way.
Pagan's that umbrella term that everyone
I
picks
am
on.
not a labeler. I hate being labeled, and I hate labeling other people. So, they are who they are. Is how I look at it,
Yeah.
Pretty much. Now, so let's rewind all the way back to the beginning of. Let's go back to 2006 here. You started your team. What made you start Abyss Paranormal? Was there like an experience, or was there curiosity, and how'd the name come about?
Okay. As far as myself, part of my life has always had paranormal in it. I'm a dreamer, empath. Of course, when I was younger, I've seen and heard things, but it's kind of like flashes and things. And when I was little, I thought everybody did. And then when I got older, I come to realize that it didn't. And my grandmother drew it to my attention that I was a dreamer because I had dreams coming true.
Yeah.
And she made it very clear to me. She was Quaker, and she came out of being Quaker. And but she still practiced a lot of their faith and things, But anyway, so over the years, it's always been with me. Some part of my life has been paranormal. And then when I was 15, going on 16, my grandmother passed away, and I believe it was May that she passed away. And my birthday was in October. And right before my birthday, I was having some issues and big decisions to make. And I was very depressed, and I was crying, and sitting on the edge of a full-size bed. And I looked up in the mirror of my vanity, and I felt a hand on my shoulder. I thought it was my mom. And I looked down at my shoulder, and there was no hand. And so I looked up, and I didn't see no one. But when I turned around, the mirror on my vanity was facing me, and I could see my grandmother standing behind me. And so I did one of these numbers, look back, and because her hand was still there, I still couldn't see nothing. I looked back, she was still there in the mirror. I looked back again, and then when I looked in the mirror, she was gone. And then about 2-3 minutes later, my mom come busting through the bedroom door, and she had a paring knife in one hand and a potato in the other. And she said, "How long have you been sitting there?" 2 hours, And she said, "You didn't leave the room." And I said, "No." And try to make a long story short here, she had heard me crying, and she was peeling potatoes for dinner. And she decided she was going to pray for me and then give me some time and come in and talk to me. And while she was praying, she felt a hand on her shoulder, and she thought it was me. And she turned around, and she didn't see the hand. She didn't see her. And then eventually the hand lifted, and she did not see me. She thought I was messing with her. There's 2 ways to get into my bedroom. So she come busting in the closest one, thinking she was going to catch me coming in the other way. And that's why she said, so we had the same experience. Feeling my grandma's hand on my shoulder was a comfort. I had went from being basically emotionally breaking down to calm and able to clear my head and make some decisions that I needed to make and things. But
piqued your interest to start your team.
Right. That's when I started investigating right before I was 16. I'm 63 years old, guys. So I've been investigating for over 40 years.
Wow.
So my first investigation consisted of a cassette tape recorder and a flashlight. And that's, but before that, if I heard something was haunted or even questioned being haunted, I was right there on it, trying to check it out and see what I could see or hear what I could hear. So when 2006 came around, my son came home from college. He was in college at Florida. And at that time, it was kind of getting popular through Ghost Hunter's show. And I thought, wow, this would be a good opportunity for me to help people. And, that's my main thing, and mainly debunked, because a lot of people claim a lot of stuff paranormal that isn't.
Yeah.
And so I decided to start the group. I was going through names, and I really liked the description of the word abyss, because it's the unknown, and that type of thing. And that's where I got the name. So.
Okay. All right. Well, it fits. It's a very catchy name, so I like it. Thank you for sharing that experience, because that's actually pretty interesting. And all we need in life is a little love, and that's what your grandmother was there for. She was there to spread love and comfort. So.
Right.
So let's move into a different subject that we're doing in the ALL American Paranormal Tour. And that is, since we're in season 4 of MNSpiritCast, I want to know what are both of your bucket list places, whether it be in Missouri or outside of Missouri. Where would you guys like to investigate? You could do 2 each person or 4 each.
Liz, you start out, girl.
It's always going to be Ireland, anywhere really in Ireland. So,
is there a story behind Ireland that you're intrigued by, or
not necessarily a particular story, just the history there? You got so much folklore, you got so much war and history that happened there. Again, the potential to see something is, astronomical, and and I personally, I am the skeptic, and so I want to see that there's something out there. I would like to be able to communicate with somebody on the other side and be like, hey, so what's going on?
Right.
Over there, something to look forward to. But
Right.
I think the greatest potential is going to be Ireland, just the history of it.
Absolutely. Most definitely. What do you think of, Vicky?
Well, I don't have a big desire to leave the country, but if I would, that it would be Ireland. The reason I've had a drawing, when I'd see different shows and things, I do have some ancestors there, but I don't know, it'd be either that or maybe Australia. I don't know. There's a little bit of something there, but mainly the places I want to go to the Bell Witch. Matter of fact, when I was younger, I learned the first time about the Bell Witch actually in my history class in the 6th grade. And when I found out the president had went there and was scared off and all of this, but I had a dream of a female showing me the cave and saying, come on, and so I've always felt that somewhere along the line I was going to end up going there. So I would say there's odds and end places. I like to find places that aren't well known. And go in and check them out.
Absolutely.
So that's how I am kind of with things.
Well, I think the Bell Witch would be a lot of fun. Personally, on a personal level, I want to go to Alcatraz.
Mhm.
I think it would be the best place to investigate. But if you knew the price that it was to get into Alcatraz for like a 4-hour investigation,
Right.
we would all, drop dead right now.
Right.
So, somebody says me too, that they would like to go to Alcatraz as well. So, but no, it's fantastic. Ireland would be for sure fun. I think China would be fun too. But
I've always wanted to go to Norway or Sweden. That's where my heritage is from. Some in Ireland a little bit, but a little bit more on those borders that are closer in between those two, because there's a lot of history in my family about one of my relatives was a king at one time of Norway. So he wasn't like a big king or anything like that, but he was, one of the kings of Norway. So
that explains where your royalty comes from, huh?
yeah, that's a little bit of my royalty, just a tiny bit though. So nobody. I don't even qualify for a throne.
We can't afford a crown for you.
I don't want it either. I like how I am right now. Hawaii, yeah.
Hawaii would be fun. We actually did our Hawaii episode, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago. Here we go. Oh, Japan. Okay, good. That'd be fun as well. $25,000 for an overnight, from what I have heard, for Alcatraz.
Wow.
25.
A lot of places have raised their prices. I was told the state penitentiary here in Missouri had raised their prices. And
not a fun to go to the Missouri State Penitentiary. That would be awesome.
yes, like I said though, I'm the type that likes to find the out of the way and not very popular places. But if the group wanted to go, I would go. We always vote on things. So, but all I am seeing is Facebook users and
I'm not seeing the people.
their names.
Yeah.
If anybody or if everybody would like to show your name up on here, go to the description of the show and click on the link that says I'm using StreamYard. Click on that link and give it permission to use your name. That's all you got to do. Oh, okay. We got
Andrea. Andrea is in chat. She's a team member. She's the one I told you that came in 2006.
I wish I knew who Joe was. Is he one of yours?
Andrea is.
Joe, we don't know who Joe is.
Well, it may be Skull.
Squeakers.
Yeah, I see Squeakers. Hey, Sarah. Joe may be, he goes by Skull on his channel. But it's the only Joe offhand that I think it would be. Anyway.
Cool.
A little bit's on there.
Oh, okay. All right. It's Sarah. It's Sarah from our team.
Okay.
Welcome. We got 2 Sarahs. We got some awesome people here. So welcome to the Missouri episode of MNSpiritCast. It's going great so far. It sounds awesome to be in Missouri, and I'm sure we're going to be visiting soon. Now, here's a question for you. It's a little off topic of mine, but super curious. Okay, so you're based in Lebanon, Missouri. Do you have any information or knowledge on the town or city of Branson, Missouri?
Yeah. Branson is about 45 minutes from Lebanon.
Okay.
I have a lot of family that lives there. You got the oh gosh, what were they called?
Bald
Something.
knobbers.
There we go. Bald knobbers. I had it backwards. I was saying knob something. Bald knobbers. But there is a lot of paranormal, a lot of history, a lot of hauntings. There is a group. They go by Dark Ozark. They have their own podcast. She is the one that got us set up for October's global ghost hunt of the Kendrick house. She's very familiar with Branson. But yes, Branson does have a lot down there. I don't know about big places. I was told that Silver Dollar City, I had a cousin who was a security guard there, and he said that unusual things would happen, that they would see or feel or something, and they could not explain it, but it was nothing really. I don't think that it really took off but he would said odd things would happen that he could not explain there in Silver Dollar City, but there is so much history.
I bet there is.
All through there.
I
It's
was
in
gonna
the
say,
Ozarks.
if you're going to find any hauntings in Branson, it's just going to be in the hills.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of bootleggers history. It's the again, Civil War area. It's right on the border of Arkansas, and so you have a lot of state line runners, and you know, I mean, like there's a bunch of crime that happened there just in the hills. So
Right.
Well, and then we also look back on the Titanic Museum too, because that's one of my dream investigations. I would love to go there.
Right.
I have been there. Of course, not for the investigation, but that's one of the things I did. When I was standing there, you can see like the life jackets and stuff that they were able to retrieve from the bodies and stuff like that. And I always kind of wondered if it wasn't, holding something, because I mean, it's true artifacts.
Are they? They're not replicas. They're
The original.
Right.
Talking books, pictures, dresses, shoes, everything.
Wow.
Right. And I think there some instruments that they had found from the band that continued to play when it sank.
I don't remember seeing that there, but it might have been. It's been several years since I've been there.
It feels creepy there. Sadness.
It does have a creepy feeling to it. It's
very
but it
sorrowful.
also, we have to look at the psychological impact of it though too. You have to keep in mind it is a memorial. It is, kind of darker. It is a little, a lot of stuff or whatever. So I mean, you're going to get that feeling anyway. But you need to keep that in mind when you're there. But it is quite fascinating to look at the stuff though.
Absolutely.
I don't mind my kitty joining the podcast for a second.
Absolutely fine. So, but no, I think history, I like hearing about the history of all the states, because the whole reason I wanted to do this season the way I'm doing it, for one, I wanted to be a resource for people in each state. They don't know who to go to when they have hauntings in their house. What if they want to connect with a family member? Don't know how. What if they're having, demonic practices, or not practices, but demonic experiences? They don't know who to go to. That's why I want them to go back on MNSpiritCast, go looking for and find their state and watch that episode, and they have a full resource right there. That's my whole goal.
Right.
But for my satisfaction of season 4, I like hearing about the history and paranormal in each and every state. I think it's fantastic. It's a great thing to hear about. So,
Lebanon is in the center pretty much of Missouri, and you can't go in any direction without coming across a battlefield.
Wow.
There is some places close. We actually did an investigation a few years back where the house, behind the house, their pasture, had the hills where they would fight. And there was a battle that took place actually in their back pasture.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the Kendrick house where we're going actually, the one for the next global ghost hunt. It's a Civil War site. The Battle of
both sides occupied the house at one time, and it was a hospital. The house it's called the Kendrick's house. It's in Carthage, Missouri, and that's where we're going to be doing the investigation in October.
Okay.
You can look at more information on it. You can just look at the Battle of Carthage, and you'll find out more stuff about it.
Okay. Right. Cool. Awesome. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that for sure. Now let's venture off into the investigative part of Abyss Paranormal. Now, before the show and a little after we started, we talked a little bit about what you guys do, how you started, and all that. But are there certain things that you guys specialize in? Is it just investigations, or do you offer cleansings, or do you offer like blessings of houses and that kind of stuff? Like,
What
sit
we
there.
do basically, if we can't do it, we find them somebody that can.
Yep.
And
Okay.
we go by their faith and what they're wanting, you know.
Right. The thing again, it comes back down to psychology also. I mean, if you have having an issue and you don't believe what we can do will work, you know, it's always best practice to follow what they believe can help them.
That's
And
right.
so we can do cleansings. It's not that we can't, but it also depends on the person's faith and their cultures and that sort of thing. We need to always be mindful of that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But like she said, if we can't do it, we will find somebody who can. You
Oh,
know,
right.
we'll leave somebody hanging.
And that's my whole goal. Sometimes we're not always able to leave the state of Minnesota. I got a case over in, I want to say it was South Carolina or South Dakota, and it's a surrounding state of Minnesota. However, we wasn't able to make the commute at the time, so we went through a whole long process of trying to find them somebody who could go out there, because they told us all of what was going on, what they're experiencing, and all that. So my motto is we leave no questions unanswered. That's what we always do, and we always, like you guys, like to find people that can help if we cannot. So
Right.
it's a good thing to do. It's a good mindset to have, and it's definitely number one in the field. It's always making sure the clients are being helped. So
Right.
yes, so very cool. Let's see what we got here for you. Okay, so I know you guys mentioned you were going to this investigation for the global ghost hunt, which is obviously the beginning of October. But what else are you guys working on right now? And what kind of projects do you guys have in the works?
We got I had a video sent to me by somebody that I know. We're going to set up an investigation at some point in time. It's just we've got so much going on that it's hard. If ever we have someone come to us, then it's kind of like an emergency thing for them. We have been known to contact another group here in Missouri and say, okay, we can't do this. We need to turn it over, you know, and we have done that. But as far as us in the future, basically, we're going to be focusing on the global ghost hunt. We do have an investigation. He's wanting it the first part of October. I can't guarantee that we're going to be able to do that. We do have lives. Liz and Ruben, they own a business. Liz also has actually a full-time job and a part-time job. She's very busy. She works. Yes. And a lot of us have, you know, lives, and it's paranormal is a part of our life, you know. But
we do have a project, though. I mean, so if anybody watched the global ghost hunt before, you all saw mine and Ruben's invention, the ALL Investigator. That is going to be tweaked and modified a bit, because we didn't get very good results from it. As much evidence as we were able to obtain in that investigation, we feel like, you know, ALL Investigator should have picked something up, but
a little more than what
wasn't sensitive enough, you know, to anything. So we're modifying it a bit to.
Sure. Okay. All right. Very cool. Now, so speaking of equipment, and Joshua, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep talking.
I was just, you were getting to it. I know we get to about half of the show, and then it's kind of like ask some questions if you want, kind of a deal. So, you know, if you have one more thing for them, don't worry about me. I'm just here to be a supporting member, and you know, learn a little bit about these ladies too. So, and I've got a cute cat in hand. So,
there you go. So since we're on the equipment part of everything, so when it comes to doing an investigation, Do you guys have a pre-investigation process? Do you have to do a walkthrough, figure out what kind of equipment you're going to be using, all that? Because that's what we do. I like to do a walkthrough to figure out where we're going to put our base for our equipment, our
Right.
bar spot, all of that. So, do you guys have a pre-investigation process that you need to do before doing it?
Usually we do what we refer to as an interview. We assess the situation, what they are experiencing. We don't do a lot of research in the beginning because we like to start with kind of a blank slate. That way, if we would happen to get names or something come out through evidence, we won't know it. We'll have to research and find out how it intervene, into it. But usually while we're interviewing them and assessing what they're experiencing and what we need to do, we also go around and, okay, we'll do this and we'll bring this. And we think we need to do this because they're experiencing this, and maybe we'll have it easier to communicate because of this, So we kind of pre-plan. That I have been known to have this all figured out. We're going to do this, and and we get in there and it's utter chaos. The energy is just chaotic. And, so I'm like, okay, we got to do this a little different. We got to change it up or change how I want it, And I'm saying me, but this happens with the other members. They'll come up to me and say, hey, this, and maybe we should do this or do this way this time. Also, the beginning of any investigation, a couple of them will go around and they'll do base readings for every room. If it's an inside location, this type of thing, it gives us an idea of the EMF readings and if temperature changes and what we've got for an average temp and EMF. And find the hot spots. We have found major like electrical boxes and things, that can affect the equipment and things of that nature too.
Perfect. And so what about post-investigation process? For me, after we do an investigation, I still got a process to make sure that the investigation has been done properly, that the client is happy, and that they're not going to have this issue again. If they're going to have it again, then we need to figure out a process to get that taken care of permanently. So,
Right.
do you have things that you need to do afterwards? Do you have them do paperwork of yours? How do you guys operate post investigation?
Basically, we tell them, it depends on how long of an investigation. Yeah. Most generally, we start at sundown and we'll go till 2:30 in the morning. If we feel we need to stay later, we will. But generally, that's the timing in it. But we always tell them, we analyze everything and it goes through, at least 2 or 3 people. And then we've been known to say, okay, we can, and do the reveal to them and things, and then go back and find things that we did not see, even that being said, and we will contact them, but after we have analyzed everything, the video, which takes a tremendous amount of time, we'll go back, we'll set up a time and go back to the house or the location and do a reveal. And we will, any evidence we've got, we have it on a thumb drive and we give it to them. So they have their own copy of everything that we found and explanation. We go over everything with them, ask them if they have any questions. And if they want us to do something like a cleansing, that will be when they tell us, okay, this is what we found. This is what we, or we were able to debunk what this was you was hearing or something like that. We find out how they want us. If they want a house cleansing, then we either do it or we find whoever they want. We've been known to the people be Catholic and they want a priest to come in. And
Sure.
so
But she's very good about staying in touch with the clients afterward too. So if anything
Yeah.
comes up later, we have had clients actually reach back out to us, wanting us to figure out what's going on because something else has happened or whatever. So she
Right.
does stay in contact with all of them. So
yeah, matter of fact, I got a message at 1:00 yesterday morning from an investigation that we did over a year ago.
Wow.
And they're starting to experience some different things, and she wanted to know our opinion of how to handle it. So it, yeah, I do. I stay in touch. We just did a second investigation at a place that we did, Lord, over a year ago also. And we're going to go back again. I mean, it's different every time we go. But they're like, they cook when we come. They bake. Our first investigation there, they had, we showed up and they had a cooler full of bottled water, a cooler full of pop, just all this. She had baked, had salsa and couple different dips or salsa and chips, and she baked brownies and German chocolate cake and just all this kind of stuff.
Making me hungry.
Yes.
shocking.
And we were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, most people are not that hospitable.
Yes. And then we got ready to leave, and he said, wait a minute. And he goes over and gets one of these coolers that's on wheels. And he said, this is yours. And he gave us a cooler full of pop. So we now have a group cooler. And so then
But
when they
he's
asked,
been fascinated ever since too. He himself has started buying equipment to investigate his own property,
and he'll send me videos.
yeah, he's
look
really
what I
interested
found,
now.
look what I seen.
Yeah. He's
One of
super
my
excited.
questions.
Now I will reach out to them, go investigate, and tell them Abyss sent me.
Yes, on this property there is a cabin that was built in the 1800s.
Okay.
That's our primary focus.
And there's a bunch of doll body parts in a barn there.
Ruben's favorite spot.
Yes, that is Ruben's favorite spot.
No, Ruben has a thing about dolls, man. I don't know what it is, but we were doing an investigation the first time, and one of the team members was out there, doing his thing. Ruben was the cameraman. And every time something would happen, like the K2 would go off or something, you wouldn't see it because Ruben's with the camera going at the dolls. Totally not.
All you could see was the doll head. He was focused on these doll heads and stuff. He said, I knew it was just going to come after me, so.
One of my questions for you guys is like, what kind of experiences that you are having there? What has been your most impactful experience, or what has been your most biggest debunk that you kind of had to let a client know, or something like that?
Can I tell mine?
Yes,
sure, go ahead.
Okay. As everybody knows now, I am very skeptical. I don't believe in it until I see it, and that's just how I am. Period. And that's kind of why, I joined the group, because I want to know. I mean, I'm a truth seeker, I guess. I'm always wanting to know more. So we investigate, and actually it's one of the videos that will be on YouTube. We investigated this home in West Plains, and I was in tears almost, because it was the most shocking thing I've ever seen in my life. And you'll see it in the video, but we had a static camera set up in the kitchen, and it not fully made me a believer. I'm not going to go that far, but I mean, it's enough to make me go, what the frig is that? It was this black mass that literally shot from the ceiling over to the window on the wall, stopped as if it were looking out the window, looped back, and then came straight down. And I mean, there was no rhyme or reason for it. I was just like, oh my God, because I've never seen anything ever.
That's exactly what she said when she called me at 1:00 in the morning. Oh my God, Vicki.
That was quite a pivotal moment for me, because I'd never seen anything.
That was crack.
Is that Andrea?
Pretty cool. Very awesome. Vicky, what about you?
Oh, being an empath, I deal with a lot of feelings and things. Gosh, I'm trying to think. There's been so much. I have seen things and then trying to catch it on camera and things like that. At this place that we told you about, they cooked for us. We did a pre-walkthrough of this cabin. And as I was standing back, Liz was in front of me in the next room.
Yeah.
And I was looking through the doorway, and all of a sudden I seen an older woman step up in the doorway.
Okay.
You left the room that Liz was in and go into another room, and she was up in that doorway. And took a picture, and there is something there. You can't make it out, very explicit. But it's literally Liz
Right in
is
my face.
right.
Like it might be holding a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's but being, like I said, during this investigation, we discovered that this is something that we do in every investigation, be it commercial business or residence or whatever. About halfway through the investigation, we will all leave the building and for a half hour to an hour and take a break and just let the cameras and recorders do their thing. And you'd be surprised.
That's a good idea.
What you can catch.
It settles down the energy we brought in and allows the, whatever might be there to readapt themselves to the environment.
Right, right. And we do that at every investigation. But this investigation in particular,
he was just saying that it was that's something he'd be interested in doing for our team as well.
Oh, is that what he said?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's something you'd be, because no one's in there, and you've got the static cameras in every room. So if you hear something, you can go through and check the other cameras at that time.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're, and you might see something in another room, but hear it on one.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's that's something that we do. But this investigation where they cooked and everything for us, we took the break and we left and we went into their home. And we left the camera running in the cabin. And do what?
I said, this is crazy.
Yes. And as you can see, Ruben turns the camera on and he sets it up and he sets the light up. And the whole time, all you hear is him. You don't hear noises or anything. And then he leaves and you can see him walking out of the cabin. And of course, I'm standing clear across the yard in a different front porch and things. And I'm telling him, don't worry, Ruben, you're not alone. I'm still here. I don't know what I could do for you. You can hear in the distance me saying that. But it's like 20 seconds after he leaves.
Yeah.
You're hearing all these different noises. You hear water, you hear music, you hear footsteps, you hear thumping and banging.
The camera moved.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
At
first, when I seen that the light, I thought the light was moving. But in fact, it was a slow thing and something is moving the camera. And then it shuts the camera off. And I came in thinking that Ruben had went ahead of me and shut the camera off already. And I picked it up and carried it around and recorded a couple of different things. So the camera didn't die.
Yeah.
But you can see it's slow progress that the camera is being pushed. But you hear singing, you hear music, you hear thumping footsteps, kind of a growling, wasn't there at one point that you hear? And it's quiet while Ruben is setting this stuff up, but he's gone maybe 20 seconds and it just starts in.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it does it for like 40 minutes and then the camera shuts off.
I think a lot of investigators always have to remember that we bring our energy in there as well. Whatever we're carrying with us could entice or activate or deter, whatever the case may be. Any other energies that might be in there may not mix well, may mix fantastically. You know, so it's always best to give it a break and let it just settle down and see what happens. You know?
Right. And I work the rods. A couple others do too, but I work the rods and I try, if I can tell like they're having issues, possibly it's the first time they've ever tried to work rods, or they just low energy. We have plasma ball and we turn it on and provide them with a
source of energy.
possibility of using energy and getting energy from it.
Ruben would like to build a Tesla coil.
Yeah. Just give him time. He will.
They're not that hard to build, actually.
Yes.
So
I can see Ruben doing that. Ruben.
Cat balls as well. Yep. I love the cat ball.
We use cat balls, and we do have in this video that's getting ready to come out, the West Plains video. We have something going between a cat ball that's in the shower room and a cat ball in the kitchen. And it moves really fast. After we had done the reveal, I was watching and I thought, okay, the camera's having trouble focusing because the cat ball was going off in the kitchen. And I got to realizing it was doing it right prior to the cat ball going off. And I could see movement in the door. It was just really fast. And so I slowed it way down. And immediately you go through the door, there's another door sideways. And you see the door frame and the door to that room is closed. And you could see the trim on the outside of the door all the way to the floor. But then when you'd see movement coming in, that trim was blocked halfway down. So something was stepping between the camera and that trim and you couldn't see it. And it was real fast. And so I slowed it down and second by second tried to take a picture, a still shot of it. And it's kind of pixeled, but it's pixeled because there's movement. And I'm taking it off of a video. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff we have found. Ruben was told to get out for the first time. He was working the spirit box, and it's strange because he had a voice recorder on him, but you didn't catch it on the voice recorder. It was caught on the audio of the static camera. Okay. And it sounds just like a kid. You got two kids and one kid goes in the other kid's bedroom and the kid says, "Get out." I mean, immediately that's just how it is with Ruben. And of course, Ruben didn't hear it, but we picked up on it when we was analyzing. But there's a lot of stuff, that we have seen and dealt with. But I'm going to tell you, in all the investigations I have done in businesses, I have had businesses, we did an investigation and the cops had to call the owners in saying there's people in the business. We've seen them walking around with flashlights. The doors are locked. They go in, walk through the whole business and absolutely no one there. And so we were called in on things like that. But I need to plug my laptop in. It's wanting to die. But I could count on one hand how many demonic or evil situations we've had to actually deal with. A lot of angry spirits, yes, but not that. I'm going to get my cord plugged. Yeah, you're gonna move, little one.
Not a lot demonic.
Yes. Yeah. There's very little demonic out there. A lot of angry spirits are deemed to be demonic because they scare them. They get aggressive. But they're not actually.
It's what they're taught. Unfortunately, they've been told If it's not a nice thing, it's demonic. If it's a nice thing, it must be an angel, you
Right.
know, instead of accepting what is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We have a situation where we did an investigation and there was stuff inside and there was stuff outside.
Right.
And later on, we discovered that there was something that was basically neighborhood
Mhm.
that all of the neighbors was dealing with, but one didn't know that the other one was. And the only way we could ever get that situation straightened out would be to have a shaman come in and blast the whole neighborhood. And getting your neighbors to agree to that is just not feasible, because this is right off of Fort Leonard Wood Base, and no.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we have dealt with stuff like that also. So
Very, very interesting. I've never had an experience like that, but we've dealt with some pretty crazy things. And before Minnesota Career Hunters opened, I owned 2 other teams, so I've been investigating for a good 5 to 6 years now. So, which is nothing compared to you guys. You've been going for over 17 years, so I have no comparison there. But we've dealt with some pretty crazy things ourselves. So thank you guys for those experiences. So we're going to take a short break, about 30 to 45 seconds. And when we come back, we're going to hear what's next from Abyss Paranormal and their advice to newcomers in the paranormal field. So stay tuned, and we will be right back right after the break. And my phone keeps losing its position. Welcome back to the show. We are back here in the state of Missouri, Lebanon, Missouri, to be exact. And we're here with Vicki and Liz from Abyss Paranormal. So you might want to go back and watch the show if you missed anything, because we've had some great stories and experiences by Liz and Vicki. Now, my first question for you guys, or my next question for you guys, we will wrap up soon. You guys get back to your day. But my next question for you guys is if somebody was wanting to take a tour of the state of Missouri and they want to focus strictly on paranormal, what makes Missouri a good state to visit?
Well, you can find it in low areas in the country. No matter what town you go in, there is something. There's a lot of well-known places. You will find there's quite a few people in the paranormal field. When I started the group, I didn't realize it. I put out publicly, what do you guys think about Lebanon, Missouri having a paranormal group? And I was like, oh my gosh, because I could just vision myself, the responses that I got of them showing up and dragging me out in the street and tarring feathering me. I mean, it was bad. I had people come to the front door and ask me if I was a witch, just stuff like this. But it's all closet kept. I had so many people contact us, want us to come and do investigations. Are you aware of this place? Are you aware of that place? You know, it is there. There's several well-known places. We've got the Pythian Castle in Springfield. We have the Limp Mansion. And it's like I said, in every area, you'll find a battlefield.
Okay.
In Kansas City with mobsters, you know?
Yes. Yes. Now, there is a place that's not too far from me. It's between where Liz and Ruben live in Lebanon. It's called Ha Ha Tonka. If you get a chance to check it out, check it out. It has 4 locations on that piece of land. It is a castle ruins. It has the water tower to the property. It has a natural bridge, but is it the Mark Twain State?
It isn't. It's not. It literally is Ha Ha Tonka State Park. It's in Camdenton.
It's in Camdenton.
Yeah.
And they have some caves that Missouri Mafia used to launder money and run moonshine and just all kinds of stuff in. But at present time, we have an extent or about ready to go extinct bat presence in that cave, so they're not allowing anybody to go in and disturb them.
Yeah,
but
it's been like that for several years now. We've tried to get into it, Ruben and I, because we live here, and it's been shut down for a long time. I don't think there's any intention of opening it. So
they said that it's still there. They not having a very good population growth with them. I guess maybe they're dying once they're born or something. I don't know. But it's very interesting place. The energy there is absolutely great. Ha Ha Tonka is different Indian. I
was gonna say it's Native American land is how it all began.
Yes.
We here have it's the Osage Nation that is from this area. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, there's some legends with it. So up on the bluff where the castle ruins sit, actually, they Ha Ha Tonka, it means laughing hills, and supposedly that was one of those lovers leaps type stories there from Native Americans. It was like a situation of Romeo and Juliet. Sure. You know, somebody fell in love with another tribe member, and they couldn't be together, and so supposedly they leaped from the bluff into the arm of the Niangua there, and that's how all that started.
Right. There's also, and I think I may have told you about this, Marcus, in conversation we had in Sibley, Missouri, which is on the outskirts of Kansas City. There is an actual Indian fort. It's called Fort Osage. Lewis and Clark built it, and it became a trading post for the Osage Indians. It's right on the banks of the Missouri River. It is haunted. I investigated it by myself. The group is not. The parks took over it about 4 or 5 years ago. They do charge, and once a year they do ghost tours and stuff. But it is very interesting. I have seen apparitions there. I have heard a lot in the barracks. In certain areas, you could smell tobacco. You could smell, because everyone had a fireplace in it. It was built in the 1700s. Okay. And it's very interesting. Independence, Missouri, which is the suburb of Kansas City. You have the Vale Mansion. You've got that, and of course, the Civil War all over there. Harry Truman's house, the president, that's where he lived when he became president. And he's got his library there. He's buried at the library.
Not to mention, we got Daniel Boone Homestead, his family's
St. Louis, yes.
And then we got Mark Twain's house. You
And
can tell
handle-
anybody to start at one corner of the state. You can go all the way across in a zigzag motion. You will find something that's haunted.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's well known, and it's not hard to get evidence. Most generally, it is active.
Paranormal tour for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So it has a lot of popular places, but I look for the ones that's not so popular. You know? Those are the ones I'm really interested in, doing.
Yep, most definitely. So, Joshua, you got any more questions? If not, I have one more question for the guys.
No, I don't have any other questions right now. I'm good.
Okay. Well, I have.
They've answered all of my questions, so you guys took them all away.
You guys have answered some great questions tonight, and actually piqued a lot of interest in the state. So, my question for you guys is if there was a person who was just starting out in the field, what would be a piece of advice you would give to them to help them to be successful?
Liz, you go first.
I kind of said it earlier. Always be open-minded and mindful. You never know who you're working with, and I think that one of the biggest thing is getting overly excited. You want to see something, and so everybody likes to jump to conclusion as soon as they see that piece of dust fly by or something. They need to keep in mind to stay rational, and put some real thought and education behind it, because if we all just started jumping on it and was all like, oh my gosh, everything's everything, then we would all look like a bunch of cuckoos.
Yeah.
Right.
And we already get that. And we already get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. We already get it. So we should not give them more reason to. We need to really be mindful.
Absolutely. Most
one, rule of thumb, try to, and I have 2 reasons for doing this. Don't go by yourself. Don't separate yourself from a group and go by yourself. One is safety reasons. Okay. A lot can happen. And, but the other one is you've got another pair of eyes. You have ears, another means of being able to collect evidence, and you have someone else to validate that you are hearing something, or vice versa, to be able to help you debunk what you think you saw or what you have heard. And
protection as well.
Right. I'm sorry.
Another form of protection, having another body with you.
Yeah. Right. If something would happen to you, they could go get help. Now we do carry radios, our group does, but you just never know. Sometimes, it's good to have another person there. Say you step in a hole and you got somebody to help you get out of the hole.
Yeah, if you don't, you might become part of the haunted,
Right.
Oh, we're investigating Liz here. Oh, Liz, how is it going?
You had asked Marcus, I'm going to kind of do a follow-up on something, if we did like a pre-investigation or whatever. And I talked about us doing interviews. But mainly, if we do outside locations, we always go and do a walk around looking for holes or, dangerous territory, so we can kind of mark it and things like that. It's good. And I have actually gotten evidence from doing that. I've got a picture of an apparition that I got. And what I do is every state I have found has a crybaby something. And in Missouri, we have in Crocker, Missouri, it's called Crybaby Holler. And it's a dry creek bed most of the time. But I went there at 2:00 in the afternoon. I didn't go alone. And I walked where we was pretty much going to be walking, and I was taking pictures. And after we did the investigation, I thought, I never did check these pictures out. And I found this apparition of a woman in the trees, and it's not pareidolia. I thought it was, but I was able to debunk that it wasn't pareidolia. And so that's, I've got that. But one time we was doing a cemetery, in a family plot cemetery, And I went during the day, checked it out, walked around, and I was so engulfed in the headstones and how old they were. And I had family buried there. So I was kind of trying to check them out. And I got back home and was looking at the pictures. And in one picture, I was so concentrated on this headstone that there was a chain link fence around the cemetery.
Mhm.
But I was like 6 foot, and on the other side of the chain link fence sat a bobcat sitting there staring at me. And it was the time of year when they have babies, and that's when they're most aggressive. And I never saw it the whole time I was there, but it was there in my pictures, and I was like, wow. So I told everybody that night, look, I know that it's in the area, so we all got to stay on our toes.
One of the cases we had, it was in Finlayson. It was actually one of my family members' houses. We were doing a case there, and it was super dark outside because she has no lights in her yard whatsoever. And then she's got the house, which is like a little trailer home type thing. And that episode will be coming up on season 3, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's also a big open shed, probably a few feet from the house. And so we go over to the open shed, and all we have are lights from our cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And we were over in that shed a couple times and all that. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
We get over to the shed and everything, and I see a little bit of movement. So I quick shine my light over to where I see the movement. There was a skunk through the shed, but it sensed that we were there, so it squeezed between a little hole and exited the shed. I kid you not that my medium Rochelle goes after the skunk. And I said, what the heck are you doing?
Oh, it's a baby. It's just a baby.
He wants to get sprayed. No biggie.
And then we saw a coyote at one of the graveyards that we did. So there were animals everywhere, but taking pictures, where you don't see anything and looking in those pictures, that's a great way to debunk stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and you don't realize that you don't see it at the time. And there you go. There you are. But yes, it was something I thought, I'd tell people to do, to go during the day and get a lay of the land, because I have found numerous holes. I even found a hole by stepping in it. It was full of leaves, so I could not see the hole.
That was recent. That was at the Global Ghost
That
Hunt.
was at the Global Ghost Hunt at the Meteor. When we were investigating the Meteor, I was walking around during the day, and I was telling everybody, be careful, because
Watch for holes.
Watch for holes. This, And
she did. She just kind of goes.
I just went boom, one leg down and all the way up to the knee. So if I had been walking fast, I could have easily broke my leg.
Please tell me you had a camera rolling.
No. We did have a funny experience at taking pictures, but I won't.
Everybody already seen it. We're good.
Okay.
From day one.
If you want to tell everybody about it, Liz, you can. I'll let you be the one to tell.
If anybody wanted to see my booty, that's where you're going to see it.
Yes, we were doing. I don't know if you have seen it, but on the advertisement or the thumbnail for the coming up Global Ghost Hunt, they have a group picture of us, and we're sitting on the Meteor.
Yeah.
Liz is setting the camera up timed.
I had just recently injured my ankle, so keep that in mind.
And she was setting the camera up, and then she would run as best she could to get set down so the camera could take our picture. And Ruben is sitting there, her husband, and she ran, and several times it would take before she barely got over there. And she started and Ruben made the comment, I hope that camera doesn't get a picture of Liz's butt. And just as he said it, she bends over to turn around and sit down, and the camera goes off. And you do not see anything. You see the top of my head, and the rest is Liz's hind end. And I said, here's the group. We're going to put it up and post. Here's the group making a butt of themselves. You know?
It's great when you can laugh about those kind of things, though, afterwards.
Oh,
Gotta have that levity, too, as well, you know?
Yeah, when we were investigating the meteor, Ruben and Gage was on top, and Gage was working the yes and no coin. And coming down of a night, going up and coming down during the day is one thing, but climbing down off of it of a night, I just knew one of them was going to come just rolling down, you know, bust their butts. But they didn't. They managed to come down. But
Good job.
In the dark.
In the dark, yes.
So,
yeah.
Well, so we have had a absolutely amazing show. You guys got great stories, great experiences, and all that. Now, if anybody was intrigued with Abyss Paranormal tonight, feel free to go and check them out. Which leads me to my final question of the night: where can Abyss Paranormal be found?
Your best bet would be through our Facebook page. We do not have a lot of videos. One of the reasons is because we do a lot of residences, but we are in the process of putting videos together, finishing up one in particular. This is of the West Plains video or investigation. But we do have a YouTube channel. It's the name of it is Vicki Lurdahl / Abyss Paranormal. But our Facebook group
So
do what?
I said everybody who's been watching our show from day one should know your YouTube channel because it's always on there. So
Yeah. I do. I started out as just a support channel. I wasn't really in I go into paranormal chats and the live streams of other people, but for the longest time, I got 1,000 followers on YouTube, and I didn't have a video one. Yeah, not one video did I have, but I was a support channel, and I would go through and support everybody, and I met a lot of people. And then when I decided to start a channel for the group, but we really didn't have any videos. I mean, you know, that we could post out.
And now we have them, and all of us are so busy. It's hard for us to get the time to complete the editing, get it up, you know, all that. It's hard.
I have learned two things since about May. And one is doing the global ghost hunt. If I had any inspiring of wanting to be an actor or an actress, I need to hang it up. Because I know it doesn't going to work. I'm not used to talking to the camera. Everybody was awkward.
It was awkward.
It was very awkward for us. We're used to having the cameras going, just not people watching us. You know. And the second thing is I used to be able to edit video. It's been many years, and they have updated and made the new and improved to the point that I've just come to the conclusion that I really suck at editing and putting together videos. And it's really hard because it leaves poor Ruben with a majority of it, you know. So.
All right, ladies. Well, if you guys enjoyed Abyss Paranormal tonight, you can go in the description and check out the links that I posted down there. Feel free to go over, show them some love, some support, and let's return that favor for Vicki because she does it for each and every little person in the paranormal field. And Vicki, we appreciate all the support you've been given since day one. Liz, it was very nice to meet you. I've never met you before. Appreciate you coming.
I'm Elizabeth on Facebook. So if you ever see me, that's who I am. I'm Elizabeth.
I do know you.
Yes.
I do know you.
Yeah.
When you was doing that one contest and everybody was coming in as Missouri, Liz came in as Elizabeth and would vote for Missouri, you know.
You've been following me for a while now, so I do know you.
Yes.
Oh, good to meet you. Good to meet you. So, but I appreciate you ladies very much for coming on. I had fun tonight. It was a great episode of MNSpiritCast, and it's an open door if you guys ever want to return. but not until after season 4 because we're super booked this season. But thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. If you guys have any more info that you want to put out, send it to me and I'll get it put up on our social media for everybody to see. So,
okay, just everybody kind of watch because we do have a video coming out. I can't say exactly when it
want to see
is.
this now.
And it will only be part 1. If I played the whole, put everything together, the evidence and everything, it would be way too long. So we're going to have to do it in 2 parts.
who beat me to it?
Yes, Matt.
Well, ladies, thank you very much. You guys are fantastic. Oh, Liz is here. The other.
Hey, Liz. It's another Liz.
Well, guys, thank you very much. I enjoy Abyss Paranormal. I always have from day one. You guys are fantastic, and I can't wait to see the video. But thank you for hanging out with me tonight, and I hope you guys have a good night.
You guys too. Bye, guys.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. And for everybody out there watching the rest of this, we absolutely enjoy bringing you these episodes each and every night. There we go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much. Joshua, thank you for co-hosting with me.
You're welcome. Bye, Liz.
Always a pleasure to serve you guys these episodes each and every week. Next week, we're going to have another fantastic show because we're going to have a returning guest come on the show, and we're going to be in the state of Georgia. So grab your peaches because we're going to Georgia. So, till then, I hope you guys have a great night. I really hope you enjoyed MNSpiritCast out of the state of Missouri, and I hope it was very informative for you guys. Joshua, you got anything else for them?
I just wish you all the best and have a great day. We'll see you next week, right?
Hey, not a problem. Thank you very much for coming on. But next week, we'll see you guys on Saturday at 6 p.m. Central. That's 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. Pacific. So we'll see you then in the state of Georgia, the city of Athens. So we're going to be in Athens, Georgia. But until next week, hope you guys have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next time. Happy hunting.
Happy hunting.